The Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. This is the Glockcast, sponsored by Gladiator Custom Mouthguards. This is incredible. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? What a ride it's been. The 21st episode of the Glockcast today. And I can't believe we're sitting here talking about the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl 52. Unbelievable. And, you know, the Eagles didn't just win. They kicked the Vikings' ass on Sunday. I have a lot to say. I'll be joined by Rob McLaughlin and the most hated man in Minnesota, Don Bruni, momentarily. They have a lot to say as well. But wow. Wow. This is a team. The Eagles are a team. I've never seen a team like this before. They love to be around each other. They love this city. And Doug Peterson is the maestro of this team. Doug Peterson is unreal. This is only his second year, and the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. They just won the NFC Championship game. Who would have saw that coming? Nobody. I don't care what you say. You didn't see it coming. They have no left tackle, no middle linebacker, no Darren Sproles. Oh, yeah, they lost Carson Wentz, too. Doesn't matter. He's got Nick Foles. He managed to have Nick Foles throw for 352 yards and 3 touchdowns against one of the best defenses in recent memory. Doug Peterson. Remember, Michael Lombardi called him the most underqualified head coach in the history of the NFL? Michael Lombardi, you, sir, are a jackass. On a hit list of jackasses that I will get to during this show. Jim Schwartz, this defense is giving up 8.5 points a game in the playoffs. 8.25 since Christmas. Merry Christmas and Happy freaking New Year. They have been the best team in the league all year. Shame on everyone who was so blinded by Philadelphia hate that can't see the light of day. The Eagles are the story of the NFL on and off the field. Great guys off, and they kick your ass on the field. I love this team. That can't be said enough. Team. They love being around each other. They want to win. They're addicted to winning. They've embraced this city, and we've embraced them. All game long, they kept playing 2 songs, if you noticed, if you were in the stadium. They kept playing 2 songs. That Cardi B song and Meek Mill song. They love it. They love it. Like I said, they've embraced this city. They've embraced each other. And now they are on the verge of a world championship. Today is the day that we're just going to soak it all in. We're going to bask in the glory of winning the NFC Championship. Fresh voices on the 21st episode of the Glockcast. So let me introduce the men who are joining me today. Mr. Rob McLaughlin and Don Bruni. What's up, boys?
Not much. My excitement level is through the roof. Nick Foles, a.k.a. the Cannon.
I told you the Vikings are just a bunch of bums, forcing Case Keenum to throw it almost 50 times with his 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby.
Unbelievable, dude. And, like, this is a perfect day to just kind of hang out, talk about the game, kick our feet up. Dude, we're going to the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? Dude, they didn't just win the game. They beat the living piss out of the Vikings. Did anybody see this coming?
Absolutely not. I did know that our defensive line was awesome, but no way did I imagine Chris Long playing the game of his life. Nick Foles playing the game of his life. Doug P. coaching the game of his life. It was amazing.
Unbelievable.
And the Vikings thought that the Eagles were going to come out and throw short passes. Well, they didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
Nick Foles was firing balls downfield. I love the flea flicker play. We just absolutely embarrassed them.
And you said last week, Jordan, that the Eagles' offense needs to pick it up multiple notches. And boy, did they ever pick it up multiple notches. My God. Nick Foles, I know he's in the Hall of Fame for the 7 touchdowns, but he looks like he literally belongs in the Hall of Fame. He looked like John Elway and Peyton Manning out there.
They blew them apart. That defense, they made that defense look like the Cleveland Browns defense. Was that really the number 1 defense in the NFL?
I don't know, man.
I just don't even think they had any idea what was coming. When Nick Foles started throwing bombs over and over again, imagine what they were saying to each other.
Well, let's break it down from the start. Now, they did go down 7-0. So I know what I was thinking. I was in my seat. I got out of my seat. I went to the bathroom. I punched the wall, and I said, here we go again. And then I took a deep breath, walked back to my seat, and remained positive. But come on, what was going through your head when it was 7-0?
I was stuffing my face with cheesesteaks from Bowley, stress eating. I was nervous.
Nervous, right? And they moved it right down the field.
Yeah.
No, I know. I knew once they scored that touchdown, I knew the Eagles had to make obviously some type of play on the next drive, and they didn't. But our man Patrick Robinson stepped up, took that interception to the house.
Well, they go up 7-0, so then they get the ball, and Foles looks hot from the start. Wasn't cold out, no wind. He looked good right from the start. Torrey Smith, come on, man. You got to catch that one, okay?
Huge.
And then Burton, what is he jumping for? He's wide open. Foles, he runs a bad route to start. Then he jumps on top of it. If he puts his feet down, the Eagles convert that third down, and they probably go on to score there. And then the Vikings get the ball back, and then the pick six. Boom. That was unbelievable. That place, I never heard a stadium
the
so
stadium,
loud.
of all the years I've been going to Eagles games, and it's been a long, long time, that's the loudest the stadium has ever been in my entire life.
Ever.
Going to Eagles games. I even heard outside sources. I even heard analysts saying this is the loudest stadium I think I've ever been in when that play happened.
It really was. And, the Vikings picked up a third down on that drive, a 3rd and 10, 12-yard pass to Diggs. And you're like, man, where is this defense? And Patrick Robinson won the game right then and there. And Darby with that huge block
Got bulldozed.
But you know what? He put it. That's why I go back to this is a team. They're putting their neck on the line to make that play.
Who was it that hit him? McKinnon?
Yeah, McKinnon.
Yeah,
Yep.
McKinnon lit him up. He jacked him up. That was actually the first thing I noticed. That was one of the biggest parts of the play I noticed was when he was trying to lay that block, and he just got blown apart. But at least he got the ball still in the end zone.
And can we talk about Patrick Robinson here for a second?
I was so nervous that he wasn't going to score there because I didn't have the faith in the Eagles offense yet. That when he started pointing to people, I was like, he knows he has to score.
They had to score. And that's his 5th interception. My gosh. And Patrick Robinson and Chris Long were two of these unsung, hero signings of Howie Roseman, who I will get to later in the show. But Chris Long gets to Keenum. Robinson's right there to take it to the house. It's just amazing. Who would have thought when those two signed in March, late March, that they would be making the play of the game in the NFC Championship game? Are you kidding me? This is what I'm talking about. This team is ridiculous. Everybody from top to bottom. I mean, unbelievable. 2 guys on 1-year deals. Just, my goodness. And then on the next few drives, Foles was just unbelievable on 3rd down. He was 10 of 11 on 3rd down. The Eagles as a team extended 9 of 12 drives. How about the LeGarrette Blount bulldozing touchdown?
That's what we signed him for.
He's a playoff monster and just gets right into the end zone. Unbelievable. So at that point, we're up 14-7. You guys had been feeling pretty good.
Well, this game is just so electric. And the thing when I was I tried to listen to the Minnesota side of things from their media standpoint throughout the week prior to this game. And their one concern about the Eagles was the defensive line, about how much depth there was. So when one guy gets tired, you put the next guy in, and he's just as good as the starter. So they were never skipping a beat. You always had to deal with a guy that's at 100% on the line.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, Fletcher Cox played a little more in this game than he has. Him and Brandon Graham both played 79% of the snaps. You could just tell those two, this is their game. This is their time to shine. But you are right. I mean, you had Bo Allen. You have, and you're right in the wheelhouse here, because on the next drive, the Vikings are moving the ball. They get to the Eagles' 16-yard line, and you're like, whoa, man, okay, it's 14-7. Now the Vikings, at worst, it's 14-10. Could be 14-14. But my boy, Derek Barnett, strip sack, and that was the final nail for the Minnesota Vikings.
Huge.
And guess what? We have the correct Kendricks brother. 6 tackles, 2 assisted. We have the better Kendricks brother.
For the first time maybe in Philadelphia history.
Yeah, we don't have Harvey Grant when the other team had Horace Grant back when the Sixers. We have the good brother now.
And then at the end of the half, Doug Peterson didn't pack it in at all, did he? No, Big Balls Doug. They go right up top to Alshon Jeffrey. Foles steps up in the pocket. Big V battling with Everson Griffin, who did a phenomenal job all night, Big V did. Foles steps up in the pocket. Boom, Alshon Jeffrey, 53-yard touchdown. I literally lost my mind.
That's like what I was talking about earlier. The Vikings weren't ready. Xavier Rhodes is out of the game for 1 second. Boom, Jeffrey, 50 yards back of the end zone.
Unbelievable.
They didn't pull their foot off the gas. They kept it going full throttle, which is something the Jaguars should have done when they were playing against the Patriots instead of kneeling down before the half.
And then the Vikings get the ball back. They pick up a 3rd and 3 to Jarius Wright for 11 yards. They take a timeout. They're thinking, okay, we got to score here. Eagles defense steps up again. 3rd and 6, passing complete to Kyle Rudolph. Okay, 29 seconds left. Let's take it into the half. Nick Foles, 3 for 3 on the drive. He hooks up with Jay Ajayi for 11 yards. Zach Ertz for 36 yards. And Ajayi again for 13 more. Elliott blasts a 38-yard field goal, and they go in 24-7 at half. Wow.
Which felt
I could barely catch my breath.
That had to feel good for Elliott, too.
Yeah, he needed that. He was automatic. But, I mean, at halftime, like, what is going through your guys' minds at this point? I was just like, this is insane. This is ridiculous.
Well, it was good when I was sitting at the end of the third quarter, and I was like, you know what? I think we can put Nate Sudfeld in now and start resting our starters.
My one buddy texted me. He goes, you might see Bradford here in the second half. They need a spark. I was like, no way, dude. Unbelievable. And then, of course, one last drive we'll talk about. Again, full speed ahead. A flea flicker of all things. Right on the money to Torrey Smith. 41 yards, touchdown. And the party is on from there in Philadelphia.
What was that when we started breaking out the Foles chants in place of the school chant?
Foles! 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 So, yeah, I think that's about what time those busted out. Unbelievable. And, and Foles hooks up with Alshon Jeffrey just for good measure to make it 38-7, and that's it. Unbelievable.
I guess the Philadelphia Eagles really took it personal that they went down to the Rocky statue and went down to the steps. They really took that personal on the field.
Yeah, they had to. All them 30 people that went down.
Yeah, 30 people that went down to the stadium. Yeah, thanks for coming, Minnesota.
Unbelievable. And that's kind of a good segue into what I want to talk about next. Let's start with this little number.
Away.
Hey, you guys up there in that little small sports market bubble you're living in, you're overlooking the game this Sunday where you're not even going to get to the Super Bowl. Okay, this is Philly. We're not playing in some warm dome, okay? This is Philadelphia. We're going to take your hearts out of your chest. Eagles will be in the Super Bowl. We end your playoff hopes every single time. And it ain't going to be no different this year.
It wasn't different.
But I couldn't hear Don. There's a skull chant happening in the background here. Don, I have a question for you real quick. Don, how many points per game have the Eagles scored in the last 3 weeks? At home, by the way, on that vaunted turf that you talk about, that unbreakable force of Philadelphia fans and atmosphere. How many points per game have you guys scored?
Are you referring to the game where we pulled our starters out against Dallas, where we scored 0 points?
That was a good point by you, actually.
Offset. I'm pretty sure you guys had your starters in the last game because you're still in our shadows, being that sea beneath us. All your accomplishments this season have been overshadowed by us. You have always been beneath us and always will be.
Hey, Don, you got to be up front, though, and say that when Nick Foles is starting at quarterback, it causes you a little bit of angst, right?
How about now?
Your quarterback looks like Napoleon Dynamite, Don. Let's be honest.
Napoleon Dynamite with a cannon arm.
Quarterback's looks now. Okay, I guess.
No, wait. No,
he's got tater tots in his pockets. Let's be honest.
And they taste good.
Just the fact that Nick Foles is starting at QB cannot sit really well with fans there.
The fact Case Keenum's your quarterback couldn't sit very well. What is his QB rating every time he gets rushed out of the pocket? I think he had a 5.1 QB rating when he was under pressure against the Saints.
That throw to the right side of the sideline, that was a terrible throw at the end of the game.
That lucky pass.
Defense ain't nothing like that front line defense in Philly. Fletcher Cox is going to be putting him through the ground. He's going to be picking dirt and grass out of his mouth for freaking weeks to come.
Yeah. Don, I feel like you're over-projecting, sensing another devastating loss in the NFC Championship game.
Well, Don, why don't you over-project about the Eagles Super Bowl appearance?
We were so worried about Nick Foles, the guy that looks like Napoleon Dynamite. You can see that Minnesota radio is kind of lacking a lot of material up there.
You gave them a week's worth of material.
Yeah, so I guess Minnesota is basically concentrating on how brutal the Eagles fans are down here. Like, you know,
We
Philadelphia.
do have to talk about that.
Philadelphia's a new Gotham City now. You didn't know that?
Well, I don't condone everything. I have an interesting thought here about this. I'm not like a big fighter at the games. Like, I don't know. I feel like you should be able to go to a game with a jersey on. I do. That's just, you know, come on. It's a football game at the end of the day. But I think the Vikings fans were antagonizing. The whole city of Minnesota was antagonizing Philadelphia. You know, if you're afraid of a dog, you know, I'm not the biggest dog person. Like, I don't want to go near a pit bull. So when I see a pit bull, I don't go up to the pit bull and start poking the pit bull and throwing things at the pit bull or antagonizing the pit bull in any way. All week it was, oh, these Philly fans, they're rough. And then all week it was, oh, we're going to come and take over the stadium. And we have these charter flights coming in. And then they do the skull chant of the Rocky Steps 2 hours before the game. Probably not the best idea. Now, I don't condone, you know, fighting or spitting on people or pushing people down. Like, it's just a football game. And we're very passionate, and I love football, and I do. But I don't condone all that. But if you know there's idiots and you know there's going to be alcohol involved, obviously, why don't you just calm down and not, you know, poke the bear. When I was in New York this year, I got tortured. I had a Foles jersey on. I got tortured. I'm not going to say I didn't, but the Giants sucked. It was a little easier, you know, and I'm not going to take shit. But at the end of the day, I got tortured too. It happens in every stadium.
People are well aware of the Philadelphia fan nature since 1960. They knew what they were getting themselves into. What I would display it as, you were waking a sleeping giant. And basically, the Eagles fans, I know our reputation is pretty crazy. I did think it was a little bit of overkill.
It was overkill.
I thought it was overkill when they were bombarding the Vikings bus with beers after we beat them. I could see them doing that if we lost, but doing it after we won was kind of pointless.
No, I thought that was well said by you, Brian. I agree. You got to be able to go to an NFL game if you're going to pay and wear any jersey you want. You can't beat the people up.
Yeah, you can't.
Well,
but the Vikings fans too, though, they weren't just in jerseys. I mean, they were in like full, like they looked like this was like a scene from Game of Thrones. They had like horns and Viking helmet. Like, dude, you're putting a target on your back. Now, like to our point, you can't beat up somebody for coming to watch the football team. But if you're gonna if you know Philly and there's a bunch of idiots, why don't you just put a jacket on and just chill and then cheer when you get to your seat? You're gonna find somebody probably 9 times out of 10 that's cool with you while you're sitting. Just don't antagonize everybody. You know, it was a double-edged sword, but whatever. You know?
I was a little rough to them at the beginning of the game when I was walking in, when I saw a lot of Vikings fans, but I didn't abuse them or anything. I think I got in their face, kind of threatened them a little bit. I mean, I had a couple drinks. I was drinking all day.
Yeah, and I don't condone everything you do. Just because you're on my podcast doesn't mean I don't condone much that he does.
Yeah, but however, I'm never going to – look, I'm not going to be – I think I did throw one drink at them in tailgate. Okay, but I'm saying I don't really condone – first of all, I don't condone all this crap about punching horses and defenseless animals and stuff like that. No. I don't know what the hell – some of these younger kids in this younger generation are doing things to get on, you know, Barstool Sports or whatever. Just save it. Like, just stop.
Yeah, the young kids don't stop, dude. And it's like, and the worst part is a lot of those videos are of people that weren't even going into the game.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of them were just.
There's college kids from, like, you know, Temple tailgating out in the parking lot. That literally the majority of the videos that I've seen, that's the case.
It's a shame, too, because it kind of is taking away from the performance that the Eagles had. And Nick Foles had the best performance in the history of this city on Sunday. And I go on Twitter and I'm looking at, Eagles fans. Now, we weren't wrong in every situation. You're allowed to boo a fan. Believe me, I got shit when I was in New York. So it happens. But
I think
it
just
takes away from the Eagles.
I think in this part of the country, it's sort of that East Coast, Northeast corridor mentality. It's kind of different throughout the country. We're overly clustered and populated in this small dividend, you know, end of the country, and I think it's just reputation the East Coast sort of has. Giants fans they can be the same way. Jets fans
they
can be the same way. Patriots fans are just, I mean, unfortunately, so used to winning that they're
not bothered by much.
Anyway. Yeah. So.
But again, I don't think there was that many. This wasn't a story last week against Atlanta. It's a story now. And the Vikings fans didn't do themselves any favors all week long. They didn't. If there's a moron and you're going to provoke the moron, This is what's going to happen. And just maybe next time they could just calm it down a little bit. I wish they would have for their sake. They were warning them on the news. Then you go dress Rocky up and do the skull chant 2 hours before everybody's going to put in a 7-hour drinking shift. Not that great of an idea. Not a good idea.
Hey, so what do they do with all those bringing home shirts and hats? They send to Africa, like in a third world country with the little tribes that can wear them?
So they said that Viking fans are going to sign up for Uber and drop Eagle fans off at wrong locations.
That's good fan
Oh,
warfare.
it's so bad.
That's kind of actually funny.
Hey, how do you think it feels that they're painting the Eagles emblem in the end zone of their own stadium right now? Painting it green,
they're
ripping
not
down the
happy.
Vikings walls.
Minnesota people do not like Philadelphia right now.
Well, most of the Minnesota fans are like, well, we're going to cheer for the Patriots now. Like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We already know it's Philly versus the world. Don't care.
For the first, I know you don't care. I don't know. And you were on the radio with those guys today, weren't you?
I was on the radio today.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. I called them. They put me on. I was a little bit more gentle to them. I kind of, there's 2 of the guys are still stuck in Philadelphia right now.
Yeah, and there's like 2 feet of snow. What are they going to do next week for the Super Bowl? It's going to be a mess.
I don't know.
The Super Bowl in Minnesota anyway.
First of all, the one year the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, and it's not a warm destination. But no, 2 of the guys are stuck in Philadelphia right now, and one of the guys actually ended up having to buy a conference championship shirt, which he has to wear, unfortunately, because he only brought two changes of shirt down to Philly. So we appreciate you guys changing over for us. It was only a matter of time before you'd be bleeding green.
And that's all I got for the Minnesota Vikings. We got a game coming up here. It's called the Super Bowl, the rematch of 05. And I got a little clip here.
So for mine, I had about enough of giving the top 5. There's only 2 teams left in the league, in my opinion. And number 1's the New England Patriots, and number 2 is the Philadelphia Eagles. After that, it's the pile of garbage, the Rams, the Vikings, the Panthers, and the Falcons. But it's Tom Brady, then it's Carson Wentz.
How about that, Robbie?
And here we are. It's the Patriots minus 5.5 against the Eagles in Minnesota for all the marbles.
My goodness. So let's get into this game here. Super Bowl 52. You just said it. Eagles are underdog. Again, perfect roll for us. 5.5. The rematch of 2004, 2005 Super Bowl, obviously. You got the old dynasty versus new dynasty. Okay, that's one of my storylines. Patriots out with the old, in with the new. Come on. Are you with me or not?
That's pushing it. I got to be honest.
Because here, the Eagles end the Patriots dynasty, and then they start their dynasty. They don't have Carson Wentz, Jason Peters, Jordan Hicks.
I was talking to Rob before we started this thing. I'm not really looking at it that way, but I am looking at it this way. Patriots lost 2 Super Bowls, and they were both versus Eli Manning, so why can't Nick Foles pull this off?
Sure. Why can't he? Foles obviously will be a storyline here. Foles versus Brady. Who's the best quarterback in that? Couldn't tell by last week.
No.
And then you got LeGarrette Blount and Chris Long versus their old teams.
Now that's the storyline there.
I like that
2
storyline.
leaders.
Yes, 2 leaders. And Jordan, that's something you said last week again. I hate to keep giving you credit, but I have to because you said Super Bowl leadership.
Love
the
hearing
Vikings
it.
had none, and the Eagles have a lot.
We have Malcolm Jenkins. We have Torrey Smith. We have Chris Long. We have LeGarrette Blount. We have guys that have rallied this team together.
And Blount and Long won it last year with New England. So I think that's a big little factor there for the Eagles. You'll hear about that all week and all next week. And you know what's funny? In 2004-2005 Super Bowl, that was the last game for Romeo Crennel and Charlie Weiss, the Patriots coordinators, in that game. Now, fast forward to 2018, Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia, they're also leaving. This story is like writing itself. Again, it's like deja vu.
I think the only way the Eagles lose this game is basically coach for coach. I think Belichick is the best coach of all time if Peterson gets out coached.
I can't see Doug getting out coached right now. How about that? I think Doug is on fire. I think Doug knows what Belichick is going to do. What is Doug going to do? There's no book on Doug. This is only year 2. Doug could come out 5 wide.
Yeah,
Doug could come out in the power offense. I don't know what Doug's going to do.
Schwartz is going to have to figure out ways to stop Brandon Cooks. He's going to have to figure out ways to start Gronk and Amendola. And obviously, Tom Brady's not a guy who plays 2 quarters and then just disappears. He's going to be there until the final zeros are on the clock at the end of the game.
Yeah. And we're going to get into next week's going to be hard Super Bowl, X's, O's, matchups, keys to the game, that stuff. Trying to want to keep it to casual Super Bowl talk here. And another thing, the underdog, again. This can't be understated. They thrive off of this underdog role. And did you hear this, too? That's Adam Lefkoe guy is using my damn 1990 Giants example everywhere on Twitter. All of a sudden, that's flying off the shelves. My Jeff Hostetler, I've been preaching this for weeks here on my website. Damn it. Why can't I get the damn credit for it? All of a sudden, this is like the big thing. And just to piggyback off that, Hostetler beat the then GOAT, Joe Montana, to go to the Super Bowl. They were an underdog in that game. He beat him in San Fran and then beat another Hall of Famer, Buffalo Bills quarterback Jim Kelly. They were a 6.5-point underdog in that game. Also not getting much respect for the 1990 Giants. So all of a sudden, my big Hostetler damn comparison
Foles
being
files.
used everywhere. Foles files.
Well,
Best damn article. Wentz Report Foles files. Best damn articles on the internet.
I feel like this game, this Super Bowl, I feel like Foles and the Eagles offense can produce about the same amount of points as they produce against the Vikings because the defense you're going up against now is a little bit more subpar. I mean, you got McCourty, Chung in the backfield, Malcolm Butler, Gilmore, and their defensive line is not that much of a big threat. I think the Eagles' offensive line has really rallied together and came a long way. Since Jason Peters went down, and I think they can really pull it off that way. I think they can outscore New England, but I think New England's also going to post a lot of points also.
Sure, and we were kind of talking off air that it's never comfortable when you're playing New England. There's no time to be comfortable.
No, they could be up. Obviously, they could be up 28-3 at the third quarter, and look what happened to the Falcons last year.
Now, Rob, as we heard on the clip, this is what you've been looking forward to all damn year long. How you feeling right now? We have a lot of time here, but how you feeling early?
As Don from Philly just said, I don't respect the Patriots secondary. He didn't even get to Eric Rowe. That's who I think needs to be exposed. I know he sucks at football. So if it's going to be the slot that Doug has to work into the game plan, that's what we have to do. I don't know if we're going to score 31 on Bill Belichick, but if we can
maybe Matt Patricia they could, but the pencil is stupid here.
I know.
I don't know. Here's my thing. I don't know where I'm at yet. I am leaning towards the Eagles, which shouldn't be a shock to anybody. But let me tell you, I'm 16-2 picking the Eagles games this year.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it ain't bad. Last I checked. I just think this is a team of destiny. I think they're addicted to winning. They are addicted to it. They know how to do it. And why would they lose now? I'm not betting against this team. They've proved everybody wrong. They proved me wrong. They proved you wrong. They've proved you wrong. Everybody all year long. It's unbelievable. I truly do believe this is the team of destiny. If the city of Cleveland can win a world championship, the Cubs can win the World Series, the Eagles can definitely win the Super Bowl.
Well, another good thing about this game is DeFilippo and Schwartz are apparently staying next year. Their heads aren't in a different, franchises. They don't have that mindset about going somewhere else.
No, I love that.
Like
I
we
love
see
that.
Pat
That's a good point.
Shurmur was in New York already.
I said that on my prediction last week. His mind is going to be in New York.
And hopefully Matt Patricia's mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, he was doing like snow angels and the confetti at Foxborough. I mean, come on, dude. I got news for you. There's another game.
They're going to be getting paychecks from other teams, and our guys are going to be staying with the Eagles organization so far. Hopefully I don't jinx it right there.
Yeah.
Because I love Schwartz, especially the way we stacked up against the Vikings.
One more year of them will be great. I was talking about my hit list earlier, too. We got to get to my hit list. I don't know who I want to put number one, but I'm going to put Michael Lombardi number one because he is such a jackass about Doug Peterson. He just is. But Nick Wright is a real close second. He's like it's like 1 and 1A. And I came after him on Twitter because Nick Wright, I do own you. I own you. You're wrong. I'm right. How's that sound? How does that sound?
Yeah, Nick Wright, he actually also got booed in the stadium.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in there. I would have had a couple words for him.
They had him on a show this week. His show was one of the big, interesting shows I wanted to watch because Chris Carter has been on our, backing us up all season.
He was the Vikings captain, though.
Vikings captain, but regardless, he was still supporting us. But how about Michael Irvin predicting that Nick Foles will only throw for 88 yards? I think he hit for 4 times that. Just a little bit of a bad prediction. And Michael Irvin usually always supports us. I don't know what the hell he was on, what he was smoking before the show.
Like I said in my opening, too, a lot of these national media people are missing the story. The Eagles are the story.
Yeah, I'm giving a shout out to Matt Hasselbeck and Mike Trout, supporters.
What did Hasselbeck? He was on the Eagles?
Yeah, he was the only one on the Eagles on the whole ESPN show. I mean, it's not like they have that many brains combined. Moss, Charles Woodson and crew. I mean,
They're horrible. That thing is horrible. I didn't know Hasselbeck at the Eagles. So how about that? Now, like I said, we'll talk about the Super Bowl at nauseum next week. We're going to have a lot of great coverage on Mouthpiece as well. But I want to end the show here by giving apologies out. And I will start. Howie Roseman, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't think that you could build a Super Bowl championship team. I didn't. I was so sour on this organization after the Chip Kelly debacle. I wanted everybody out. I hated the owner. I hated Howie for no reason. I hated Chip. I hated everybody. I just wanted everybody away from me. I hated DeMarco Murray. I hated Sam Bradford. I hated everybody. I just was like, I can't stand this organization. I didn't give Howie 2.0 a chance. And now I should have saw the signs early. I'm smarter than this. So I don't know why I didn't give him a chance. The 2012 draft, he drafts Cox, trades up to get Fletcher Cox. He drafts Michael Kendricks. He drafts Vinny Curry. He even drafts Nick Foles. You know, I say that, but if they never drafted Foles in 2012, Nick Foles wouldn't be the starting quarterback now, okay? That familiarity gave them the notion to go sign Nick Foles this offseason. 2013, he doesn't do the stupid thing what Chip Kelly wanted him to do and draft Deion Jordan. He drafts Lane Johnson. By the way, the Eagles are 20-3 with Lane Johnson in the starting lineup with under Doug Peterson. That is ridiculous.
Love that
okay?
stat.
And that excluding the Dallas game. Okay, 20-4 if you include the Dallas game. He only played 32% of the snaps. Roseman drafts Lane Johnson. And, he drafted Zach Ertz in that draft. So the signs were on the wall that this guy knows what the hell he's doing. Okay, fast forward to post-Chip. He drafts Carson Wentz, Big V, Jalen Mills in the 7th round. Jalen Mills, by the way, is awesome. Carson Wentz is the best quarterback in the league. Big V is an NFL left tackle. And then he signs Chris Long and Patrick Robinson on a meaningless day on March 29th. You guys saw what we talked about it all show. Unbelievable signings. Alshon Jeffrey. That was a pretty good signing, right? Howie Roseman, I'm sorry. Your fingerprints are all over this team. You built this team. You hired the coach. You did everything right. I was wrong. Thank you. I'm glad I'm wrong. That's my apology. Was that a sincere apology?
Sounded like it.
All right. Anybody else want to give out a couple
That was
apologies?
much better than Lombardi's apology.
Lombardi sucks.
Yeah, I have an apology.
Speaking
for
of
the head
Lombardi,
coach.
yep, here we go.
Doug Peterson. I think I said I would take Marvin Lewis over Doug Peterson week 1 or 2. And boy, was I wrong.
I said I would take Zimmer. I would take Peterson over Zimmer, by the way, but go ahead.
That was a good call. Yeah, I was wrong. He came into the playoffs. I still doubt him. I says, no way he can do it with Foles. He draws up the game plan to beat the Falcons. Short passes, run the ball. And then I'm like, okay, now we got to play the Vikings. What's he going to do? Comes out and starts throwing bombs. His coaching ability is unbelievable. He should have won the Coach of the Year, and I'm sorry to Doug Peterson.
Well said.
Well, I kind of got 2 of them, and I want to touch on the first one, which is you. I'm going to kind of spit off of what you said. Howie Roseman, I owe you a big apology. You, of all people, Glock, know that I've been very crucial about Eagles draft picks.
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy who likes instant gratification, which means that if we draft a guy in the first round, I expect him to be on the field and dominating the first year. However, I can't think like that anymore. These guys that were drafted in 2012, I think everybody from Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry's and Fletcher Cox's, by the time they get to their prime, these guys are absolute savage monsters. Now, I was looking at Barnett, and you know that I said, Barnett's a rotation guy. You don't get a rotation guy in the first round.
You weren't the only one, though.
Don't get a rotation guy. You could go get this safety. Go get this guy.
Christian McCaffrey.
Go get the linebacker that went to the Niners. This guy's rotation. He's not going to be on the field that much. You know what? This guy's a savage on the field. Even in the plays he came in, it was like the depth I'm talking about. They pull someone out. He comes in. He came up with a big crucial sack against Case Keenum. It was amazing. So obviously partial apology to to Roseman and also obviously Barnett. But the biggest apology is to Nick Foles because I was very crucial about Nick Foles, and you were too.
No, I said they could win with Foles.
But he was.
Come on.
I
didn't think he was going to look like a Hall of Famer.
We
last
all
week.
agreed that we just had Nick Foles has to be functional.
That's
he
what-
just
that was
has
my
to
word.
be able to. All he has to do is hike the ball and get it out of his hands,
what I
and
said.
somehow don't fumble or intercept the ball.
That's what I said.
And then so he comes out. He looks a little bit better against the Falcons. I think it just took. And I only thought Nick Foles was. I was like, he can only coexist in a Chip Kelly offense, but dead wrong. This guy came out against the Minnesota Vikings and literally kicked the shit out of them. 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. QB rating was out of this world, and he has led us to the Super Bowl. I am so sorry, Nick Foles. I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart. I really apologize.
That's pretty heartfelt. That's pretty heartfelt.
I'm actually crying
And
over here.
functional, yeah. And to go off of what Rob said a little bit too, you said he could only thrive in a Chip Kelly offense. Kudos again to Peterson for building an offense for Nick Foles. And it just, we're sorry. And thank you too, by the way. We're also saying thank you to the people we were sorry for. Now, guys, thanks for joining me today. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to be back to talk about it next week.
We're going to Super Bowl.
We're going to the freaking Super Bowl. We're going to have some unbelievable Super Bowl coverage all week on MouthpieceSportsTalk.com. We're going to start looking at the Patriots Friday. We did a little taste today, but we're going to start going full speed ahead on Friday. Keep checking back to MouthpieceSportsTalk.com. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Join the revolution. Ride the wave. Best content on the internet. I will talk to you next week. Go Birds.